Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all for being in this live on this one, man. Big Q representing the sports coma for this preview stream, man. And we're going to talk about it and break it down, man, on this one, man. I tried to do the previous one. We had some sound issues, so y'all know I had to bounce back with a better version for the upcoming matchup for the Saints and the 49ers, man. So this one is a kind of expedited breakdown, just basically naming out 10 keys to victory over the injured 49ers, or rather 10 keys to the underdog Saints victory versus the injured 49ers. Now, if you guys want to watch this or read the full article, you can feel free to go to the whodatdaily.com. Check it out there, man. Also, please feel free to share those articles on your social media feed as well. The whodatdaily.com. The new whodatdaily.com is available. So anyway, let's get right on into it, man, for this episode, man. 10 keys of victory for the underdog Saints. And the reason why we know that, man, the Saints come into the matchup against the San Francisco 49ers in their own building after losing last week to the Cardinals in, I wouldn't say a disheartening way, but a disappointing one. Let's just say that the Saints dropped a touchdown as well as missed a field goal, had 13 penalties all of that needs to not happen anymore. They're welcoming a team into the Superdome that doesn't have its starting quarterback, doesn't have its starting tight end, who's one of the best in the business, doesn't have one of its best wide receivers. One of their other receivers, Jennings, is banged up coming into the game. So really this team is lacking a lot on the offensive side of the ball. And this is a key chance for the Saints to ultimately get a win. So anyway, let's go into the article. San Francisco comes in riding the momentum of a hard-fought 17-13 win over the Seahawks, led by a dominant defensive effort. Still, Shanahan's team has lost 7 of his last 9 games overall. They now turn to Mac Jones, pressed into action with Brock Purdy, sidelined while dealing with injuries to George Kittle and Juwan Jennings. Second-year receiver Ricky Parasol has stepped up as a major threat, posted 108 yards in the opener after flashing late last year. So we got to be mindful of the fact that Mac Jones is definitely going to be looking to get Ricky Parasol going. We know Juwan Jennings is also in their offense. He was dealing with some issues as well. And the 49ers are going to try to lead on some of those other guys. Also, Kendrick Bourne, who they just picked back up. I think a week or so ago, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, MVS is there, and they're going to try to get that banged up wide receiver core involved in the matchup. But let's go right into the 10 keys. Well, before let's slow walk this thing. Saints, meanwhile, are looking to end a 5-game skid. That's right, 5-game losing streak dating back to last year. Spencer Rattler still chasing his first NFL win, but showed some flashes. 214 yards on 27 completions. Tight end Juwan Johnson had 8 catches for 76 yards. Elvin Kamara also put in a good effort, him and Kentrell Miller, trying to balance that passing game. And of course, Staley's blitz-heavy scheme accrued in 5 sacks against Kyler Murray. And that's some kind of pressure that they want to emulate. Both teams face key injuries. San Fran without Purdy, the starting quarterback, has a toe issue, among others. George Kittle has hamstring issues. He's out. And the shoulder load is going to be on Christian McCaffrey, who's not hurt. So he'll carry it. For New Orleans safety Julian Blackmon, done for the year. Trevor Penning is out. And Chase Young for the second week is out. And rookie tackle Tali Fuaga is dealing with is questionable. He'll be a game time decision, although some people believe Tali will play in the matchup. We shall see, because the 49ers have Joey Bosa, I'm sorry, who is one of, the guys, which both is Nick, I'm sorry. Joey and Nick, they're both very good, but Nick Bosa is the truth. And also Mikael Williams, they also added to the team. Those guys on the edges are going to be firing off and trying to make some things pop for the 49ers defense. We'll see how it goes. As far as the NFC West rivals go, the Saints have won 6 of the last 10 meetings. Remember, for that dating way back in the day, but the Saints won 6 of the last 10 meetings against the Niners. But the Niners have often turned hot in their deep playoff runs under Shanahan, making the games critical on both sides. So these getting right into the 10 keys of victory, starting off, number 1, establishing the running game for the Marlins, using Alvin Kamara early to control the tempo and relieve pressure on Spencer Rattler and the offensive line. That's the key additive to the Saints getting a victory against the 49ers. They have to establish the run, the offensive line, We know Kelvin Banks Jr. is a rookie, but he's good. We know that Dylan Reduntz is no excuse for that. He's a veteran, a 4 or 5 year veteran on that left guard position. He has to play better. McCoy has to step up as well. Ruiz has to improve his play, and Tyler's dealing with a knee issue. We don't know how good he is. If he's not ready to go, then Naseem Richards, the backup offensive tackle we traded for the Cowboys, will have to step in and step out. So regardless of who's in there, the Saints offensive line has to do a better job of opening up lanes for Elvin, Kendre Miller, and others to run and protecting the quarterback. Win the line of scrimmage. The Saints offensive line must create push against the 49ers front seven to open those rush lanes and to protect the QB. That's the second key to victory. Establish the run and the rushing attack and win the line of scrimmage against that tough 49ers defensive line. That's something. Another thing that plays into this, the fact that the Saints offensive line and the quarterback have to also help out insofar as being decisive and getting the ball out on time. We've seen what they were attempting to do in week 1, have a timing offense. The Saints must emulate that and make it more crisp and make it on more focus and round out the edges and get the ball out fast. Anytime you have Bosa running around there and Williams, these guys can get after you. You got to be decisive. You got to get rid of that ball and be on schedule. Pressure the quarterback. Cam Jordan and Carl Granderson need to collapse the pocket and disrupt Mac Jones's rhythm. That's key number 3. Pressure the quarterback for the black and gold. 5 sacks last week. They had a bunch of pressures to go along with it. Cam will have another opportunity with Chase Young down to have more pressure opportunities in there. He had a sack and a half, both him and Cam combined for 3 sacks last week against Kyler Murray. This week against the immobile Mac Jones, who can move a little bit. I won't say that he's no Kyler Murray, but if we can get Kyler 5 times, let's see what we can do with Mac Jones on that offensive line with the 49ers. Contain Christian McCaffrey is key number 4. Limit McCaffrey's production as both a runner and a receiver. The Saints cannot allow him to dominate with touches. All they have right now, insofar as what they can drive the team, is Christian McCaffrey. With all the other guys, he's a very important part of what they do offensively. He's healthy. The Saints have to be able to one-dimensionalize the 49ers offense, take Christian McCaffrey away, and create pressure on Mac Jones. That's the bottom line. You can't let McCaffrey get loose on you, running the ball or catching the ball. Key number 5, cover Ricky Parasol. Defensive backs must lock down the emerging wide receiver who has become San Francisco's top outside weapon. Parasol is a very productive wide receiver. He had a good game for them last week, and last year at the back end, he was picking up and establishing himself. Ricky Parasol is a playmaker for him. He's one of these guys that make difficult catches, who can get behind your coverage. Tough wide receiver. We have to make sure we lock this guy down. Whoever they put on him, whether it's Kool-Aid McKinstry or wherever they move him at, we have to be able to put some cover or put a blanket over the top of Ricky Parasol. Saints secondary have to do better. Kool-Aid McKinstry, regardless of who he's guarding, Kool-Aid McKinstry has to have a better week than what he had last week. He just got messed over by Marvin Harrison Jr. in that first week. The Cardinals, he was responsible for giving up the 40-yarder as well as giving up the touchdown that helped the Cardinals in that matchup. So much better play from our secondary in covering Ricky Parasol. Key number 6, force mistakes. Create turnovers and momentum shifting plays to flip the field and energize rather the home crowd. So that's the whole thing. Cutting the dome loose, letting people feel it, and nothing does that better than the Saints getting interceptions, getting fumbles, this sort of thing. Getting sacks is cool, but we also need to generate turnovers, whether that's interceptions or fumbles, recoveries. We have to do that for our defense. Key number 7, minimize penalties. Stay disciplined to avoid drive-killing flags and extend Niners possessions. Extending Niners possessions, so minimizing the penalties. Stand disciplined. Avoid drive-killing flags and those that help get first downs. I think it was 3 or 4 of them the Saints had last week, that those out of the 13 penalties, I think 3 or 4, maybe 5 of them contributed to the 49ers having first downs because of the penalties. There was times when the Saints had the Niners in 8 or 3rd and 7 or something like that, and the Saints defense would then allow the Cardinals move the ball and pick up new downs. We got to stop that. Stand disciplined, stand focused, knowing your assignment and execute. That's what we have to do. We can't have these stupid 13 penalties and all the stuff that we had in the first game if we're going to beat the 49ers. Key number 8, protect the O-line. Protect the O-line. With injuries already piling up, continuity and health up front will be critical in sustaining the job. So protect the O-line. O-line need to handle business. Square up, man up, handle up. If we have issues, whoever can't play, let's say, for instance, if Tolly can't go, we know he's a game time decision. All indications say that he probably will start in the game, but if he has a setback and he can't go, Seam Richards will have to step up and step out. You have to operate and handle your business, no doubt about it. Key number 9, exploit the 49ers injuries. The 49ers are banged up. Take advantage of San Francisco missing stars like Brock Purdy and George Kittle and Jennings. And Jennings is supposed to play, by the way, but he's banged up. Force lesser used players into big roles. Now we know Parasol will step up. They got MVS. They got Kendrick Bourne, who they brought back. He was a guy that spent some time with him prior to going to New England, and now he's back on the team. But we have to be able to make sure we take full advantage of those guys, putting pressure on those guys to step into Mac Joneses and all this kind of stuff. Let's not make this a walk in the park for these guys. Get after these guys as much as we can. And of course, key number 10, stay patient and fast on offense. Mix up a steady run game with quick throws and tempo to keep the 49ers defense off balance. We know the strength of the team is the defense. We know Fred Warner, who's a fantastic, one of the best linebackers in the business. Fred Warner is in there making plays. He had 4 tackles last week. He's the leader of the defense. And Fred Warner is a guy that will drive he will be one of those players that galvanize his team. But Nick Bosa and Michael Williams and Fred Winters, these guys can play ball. They're going to be leading the team. Of course, the secondary, the Saints will have to test that secondary. We know Lenore is back there when Stout and the rest of these guys, the Saints have to test that secondary, who I don't think they're all that good, to be honest. You got a few playmakers about that, but overall, I think the 49ers secondary they're very exploitable, right? And then, of course, even give you a bonus key. I give you a bonus key. Defensive line dominance. If the Saints defensive line can consistently win battles against a depleted 49ers front, it will set the tone. So if the Saints a front handle business and put pressure on Jones, disruption of McCaffrey's running lanes, and overall trench control can swing the game in the New Orleans' favor. So, and then another bonus key, a 12 bonus key, would take care of business in the red zone. Once you do that, take care of business in the red zone. That'll be another big key for the Saints defense, to take care of business when we get down to the red zone to get touchdowns and not field goals. That'll be a big key right there. Also keep the turnovers down, and just overall intelligent play and handle your business and don't shoot yourself in the foot. I think that's the game plan, the mindset for the Saints going into the second week of NFL action. So we'll be watching it tomorrow, 12 o'clock Central Time in the Dome, defend the Dome and get some, I ain't gonna say revenge, but what's the term that we searching for here? Coming back from it. Let's handle some business, some rejuvenation. I don't know what you call it. Something that we need to do, man. We need to do something to shift the overall mindset of the team going forward. Be rejuvenated and handle business. I think the Saints need to get that first win together. It'll be a big win for the Saints. I ain't gonna say a big win because you're beating an injury depleted team, but you're supposed to. You got a team coming in here and some of their best players is missing. You beat that team. You got your best players. You have to beat that team, especially if it's at home. Plus, it'll be the first win for Spencer Rattler and their team, and it'll be a feel-good moment for everybody, and it'll be motivation for them to move forward next against the Seattle team, who is still learning how to play football. They're not a dominant team. So let's take care of business and handle up, man. Get that first win of the season. All right. So with that being said, man, I'm going to turn it over to you guys. Y'all fill up the comment section. Let me know how y'all feel, how the game will end. Give me a score, prediction, all that kind of stuff as well. Oh, yeah. Let me give you my scope of prediction before I go. I give it to the Saints. I think the Saints handle business. The 49ers, I think we beat these guys 24-20 in the Superdome, 24-20. That's my score. I think the Saints get it done against the 49ers, man. So what's your score? Put it in the comment section. Let me know, man. And I'll holler at you on game day. Much love. Who that to you?